Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Clinician, and I am back. So, just got back from the Atlanta Comic Con today. It was really cool, man. Really dope experience. Met some really cool people. Really got to see what the crowd was like. Would have liked for there to be a little bit more comic book vendors this year. Noticed that it was kind of light. There was maybe only like three. Well, I would say there was three full vendors that had like a full comic book selection. There was kind of like little knick-knack vendors here and there. So if I had to kind of round it out, I'd say there's like, three knick-knacks, three full vendors. I guess that rounds out to a total of maybe 5.5, maybe vendors total in the Atlanta Comic Con, which is at the World Congress Center. Still a dope event. Got to meet some really cool people. Got to really hang out, kind of, explore, see what they had out there. They had a really cool anime scene there, some really cool accessories, Funko Pops, if you're into those types of things. Really dope posters. Had a really cool artist gallery this year. One thing that I really noticed that was really huge, they had a lot of big names out there. Like they had, dude that played Daredevil on the Netflix series, The Punisher from the Netflix series. They had my man Perlman that plays Hellboy, in those movies. They had a lot of big names. My man T.C. Carson from Living Single, Kratos from God of the War. A lot of different names out there this year, which I found to be interesting. I think I would even fair to say it was probably the most I've seen at the Atlanta Comic Con since its inception. I would say there was a lot of them, so that was cool. But nonetheless, that's not what I'm here for today. We'll do that video another day because I did actually got some pretty cool books there. We'll do that on another day. But today, what I'd like to talk about is I actually got a box from CGC. This is a comic I've been waiting to get for probably a couple months now that I had shipped off back in November. I actually went through the comic book presser. So shout out to him. He's a really dope dude, man. I actually put his tag in the chat. He actually is, I believe this is his second. Yeah. This is his second time doing my books. And the first go around we did, man, he did a great job. Had my books clean, looking right. Love how they came out. Got me some pretty good grades with CGC, although some are obviously questionable. The book still presented well. And that's all I care about at the end of the day, as long as does the book look good. I use the CGC as like an encapsulation to preserve the comic. But nonetheless, he did comment shot the comic book presser for doing my books. I actually got all of them back. So, if you're listening to this, man, I'm gonna post all my books on Instagram. I'm gonna send pictures, and tag you in those as well, because you did a great job. And really, some of them I feel like should have been higher than what they got, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. So anyway, little background about this particular book. So last year, I went to Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. And basically, I'm on a mission. So, I'm looking for, a certain books. And for those of you guys who know what I'm talking about. I think my backdrop is a bit dead giveaway of who I typically look for. But nonetheless, I was looking for this particular, this run that I'm looking to complete. And, I'm looking, and Heroes is like a huge comic book con. If you guys have never been, like, I mentioned earlier, Atlanta Comic Con just had like 3 vendors. I mean, Heroes had like 20. Like, it's crazy the amount of vendors that were there and what you're seeing. It's just like a comic book collector's dream. So if you guys have never been to Heroes Con, y'all missing out. Anyway, so I went to, looked around. Did my little surveillance of the land. I always usually try to do a quick sweep, see what's out there, see what I find, see what I can find, see what I like. But ultimately, I wasn't quite finding what I was looking for. So there was this one particular vendor. I don't remember the guy's name, so I apologize. Should have got his information. It's been over a year ago, though. But, you know, he was there, and, you know, I asked him for the particular, the book. And he presented me actually with 2 copies of the same book. And he actually didn't even have it on his wall, nor did he have it in his crates, because I was looking. But, you know, he pulled them out. He did have something, so he pulled them out, pulled 2 of them. And I was like, and sure enough, it was the copies I was looking for. And I was like, whoa. You know, but you know, you gotta put your poker face on. You can't let them know that, oh, I'm all into this, right? Because you know, you don't want to get suckered into a deal or whatever. So, looking at the books, I'm like, okay. Now, one of the books, you know, looked nice. You know, like a really deep, good, solid copy. It was it's a Silver Age book. So the guy said he had it at about a 4.5. I don't know about that. I feel like, you know, it was probably about a 3.5 maybe. I think, you know, maybe a 4, but I wasn't seeing a 4.5. I was thinking more of a 3.5. So, but anyway, he was looking at, you know, he was kind of bigging it up. He took it out of the plastic. And another thing too, guys, if you're ever looking to make a big purchase like that, you know, comic books present very well in that Mylar. And it looks like, man, they look amazing, right? They just look gorgeous. And everything, the Mylar just makes everything look better than what it really is. But when you take them out of the Mylar, you know, it's really important, especially if you're planning on spending like a lot of money on a book. Take it out, ask to take it out of the plastic, you know, just so you can see it, you know, so you can see how the book actually presents when it's out of the plastic. Because you don't want to get sold a lemon or a book that you really just not feeling it, you know, after it's taken out, because you can really get tricked and not see all the nooks and crannies on the book when you're looking at it. So I've learned that over the years, not to just always take the book at face value in the plastic. But if it's like a big purchase, like I'm doing, you know, like I'm spending hundreds of dollars on something, or, you know, a good amount of money, I'm gonna want to see it outside the plastic. So he took it out. He took the book out of the plastic. I looked at it. He went through the pages with, you know, I let him he turned the pages for me, and the book looked good. You know, there was nothing wrong with it. No, you know, split spine or anything, right? Just normal wear and tear, you know, off-white to cream, whatever. The next book of the same issue that he showed me was a beater copy. You know, and for those of you guys who don't know what a beater copy is, just a comic book that's been loved. You know, been read a lot, you know, kind of been through the ringer, got a lot of nicks on it, just a really rough looking copy. Spine split, you know, it just wasn't a good copy. But he was really pushing to try to sell me that beater copy. You could tell he was trying to get rid of it. I asked him how much he wanted for the book. He gave me a price, and I was just like, I'm not really feeling that price, you know, and, you know, I felt like it was just a little too high, especially for what he had on the grade. Even a 4.5, so I'm not really feeling that. So we kind of haggled back and forth. I talked him down, you know, about 80, 90 bucks. Then I asked him, hey man, you know, would you be willing to trade? Now, this is something I've learned over the years to do when I go to Comic Cons. It used to be I would just go in there and, you know, just see what's out there, just have my cash, just bought what I bought, right? But now I've learned that a lot of vendors, you know, if you got something and if you know the type of vendor and what they're into, you could trade a lot of stuff and save quite a bit of money if you got some books that are worth trading. Now, I'm not saying you come in here with like some, you know, like non-key, off-kilter, like, you know, moderns, or just something that really just, like, you just got off the, you know, you just got the date, you know, just like from a comic book, from an LCSW, and it's just like whatever copy, right? You know, you definitely want to have something that kind of appeals to, you know, a collector, right? So I had a couple of things that weren't like super major. I think at the time I had an annual Avengers annual 10, so it was like the first appearance of Rogue. I was looking to trade that. I had a first appearance of Omega Red. I think it was like X-Men 6, Jim Lee, you know, first appearance of Omega Red. I think I had couple other X-Men comics I think that were key issues, and they were slabbed too. That was the other thing too. So they couldn't really argue with me about the grade because hey, it's like the Road was like a near mint. There was like a 9.2. The other one, the Omega Red first appearance, was like a 9.6. So, I had a couple of things that were pretty cool. And the other books were, a decent shape. So it wasn't like they were just like, like raw beater copies or anything like that. So they, and that kind of work in your favor sometimes. Like, not saying that you have to have all your books slabbed. Sometimes I mix it up. I'll put some raws in there too, because it just depends on what the collector likes, right? In this particular case, it kind of worked in my favor because I already had them graded. They couldn't argue with me on the value of the book. Hey, would you be willing to negotiate? So I pulled out. I looked at them. I got them down as low as I could. Then I pulled out the books and was like, hey, would you be willing to trade or allow me to put something down on these books, on the book or whatever? He was like, what you got? So I pulled out what I had, and he looked through what I had. He liked some of the things he saw. And, we made the deal happen. I think I ended up spending like $200 on the book. I think initially he had it at $450. And I was able to trade him some books, and then I paid him $200 in addition to. And you're going to kind of be at a deficit, to be honest with you, when you're trading, because obviously he had something I wanted. So even the books that I traded with him, they were already, I'm not getting FMV for those books, like they're going to be, automatically they're going to be discounted, right? Because he's taking them, right? He's got the deal. He's got the book I'm wanting. I'm trying to barter with him. So I had to kind of, be okay with, the medium for, I had to look at my price and kind of think in my head, okay, what would I take for these books? And what did I have on these books? That's why one thing, and I'm actually talking to myself in real time as I'm talking to you guys, one thing I am starting to do is keep track of how much I'm spending on these books. So that way I can look back and say, okay, this is what I had on it. This is what I actually spent on it. And this is what, if I do sell it or I do trade it, then, I know what my bottom line is. And luckily for those books, I didn't really take too much of a loss. There were books that didn't really, I got some decent deals on. So I didn't have too much vested in them. Maybe the Rogue, because I actually did get that one graded. I think I spent $100 on that one at the time. So maybe I took a little bit of a loss on that one, possibly. But at the end of the day, I got something I wanted. So anyway, got the book, man. It was such a great experience because the rush and the adrenaline you get from going back and forth and, is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And my fiance kind of looking back. And it was funny because initially, almost like the deal wasn't going to go through because he was really trying to sell me that beater copy. He's like, well, you know what? I don't know, man. I ain't really got, I don't know. I can't really, come down too much on this book. He really wasn't trying to come down any lower than what he had. I think I think the lowest he came down was about like 80, 90 before I threw in the books for trade. And he was really pushing that beater copy. And I was just like, I'm not wanting that beater copy. The spine split is ripped up. The cover does not present well at all. I was just like, I'm not feeling that. And let that be a lesson too, guys. Do not settle. If you don't like how the book presents, don't buy it. If you buy a book and you don't like it now, you already have a doubt, so you're not feeling it now, you're not gonna feel it when you get the book back at home later. And that's just being real. I've been there. I bought books that I really like. I bought books just for the fact that I really wanted that book. I wanted that issue, but the aesthetic wasn't the most appealing to me, but I just got it anyway, and I wasn't happy with it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to live with that. So just keep in mind, sometimes you just got to learn when to walk away and be patient and just wait till you find the book that you want and the grade that you want it in. And it's all about the presentation and the aesthetic, the optics. You got to like the book. Otherwise, you're just not going to be happy with it. So anyway, got the book. You know, man, that was like a trophy to me. I don't even think I bought. I think I bought a few more books that day. Yeah, I did actually, because I remember now, because I actually got a Thor 125 that day. So that's, you know, that iconic Thor versus Hercules cover. And I think I got a couple other books too, but that one was the purchase of that. That was like catching that wheel, man. I was just like reeling it on in. So I was so excited, man. I was so happy about it. So, you know, but you know, as we know, I'm on a budget, and I had to wait, and you know, CGC they prices is like all over the place. Then, you know, you want to get it clean to press. So you know, fast forward later that year, last November, the end of November, I gathered my books that I want to send off to CGC, and that was one of them. Send it off to CGC. And you know, I just got this bad boy back today. It was funny because it was scheduled to come in on Monday, but I guess FedEx came in earlier, and the guy, and thank God, you know, I have Ring, and I was in the neighborhood, because when the guy came, you know, the FedEx guy came and everything, he actually rang my bell, and shout out to him for actually staying. But a lot of times they'll just ring and leave your package there, or ring, and if it's assigned for a type of package, they'll just take the package and make it, and then come back later, and they don't stay long at all. So the guy actually stayed, you know, for a few minutes, which was great, because I was able to look at my phone, because I heard the ring sound pop up, and I talked to the guy. I was like, hey, you know, I'm in the area, just give me a few minutes. And I think he was kind of in a hurry, because he was just kind of like, oh boy, I don't want to wait that long. I was like, where are you at? And I was like, dude, I'm looking dead at you. Trust me, I'm coming. So I literally ran from my fiance's house, which she's like my neighbor. So I ran from her house all the way to my house, which wasn't that far, just a few houses up. And, you know, he was there, signed for the book, got it, no problem. So, and then I went to the Comic-Con today. So this was actually a nice treat, you know, the fact right before the Comic-Con, going to the Atlanta Comic-Con, and, you know, going out there and, you know, getting to do some cool stuff there. So what I'm going to do is, this is a CGC unboxing. I think I said I had this at a 3.5. You know, the comic book presser did, you know, clean it up and everything, and send it off. And also, too, if you guys don't know, the comic book presser, the cool thing about him is what he'll do is, if you send your comic books off to him, you fill out an invoice, and you can actually send your comics under his account, and I believe he gets a discount. Now, I don't know, I think it's, I don't want to misquote him. I don't want to say the wrong number, but you get a discount, you know, when you go under his account, and he does send them off, you know, for you. And I did my first shipment was fine. It was great. Everything came back. This one is cool too. The only thing I will say is, which is not his fault. It has nothing to do with the comic book presser. It's the CGC thing. Like, you won't be able to track your comics. Like, and what I mean by that is, when you go on CGC, when you create an account, if you send it directly, you're able to follow your comic books and see where they're at in each of the phases, like on the website. But if you go through another vendor, you're not going to be able to see it. So what I figured out, and what I did that worked for me, was I just called CGC up, and I just said, you know, I'm under the comic book presser's account. And my name was also under the comic book presser's account, because it's still coming back to your shipping address. So once they were able to verify that, they gave me the invoice numbers for the comics that were on the list. And that's how I was able to keep track of them. So whenever I called, hey, how's my comic books going? How's it going? And they would keep me posted. And then finally, when they would get ready to ship them out, I would just call them and get the tracking number. But the only thing with that is, again, if you don't, they just kind of pop up randomly. So if you're okay with your packages kind of popping up sporadically and kind of here and there, then, you know, I'll recommend going to the comic book presser, because you do get it at a discounted rate. He cleans them, sends them right off, you know, just a one-stop shop swoop. So, you know, just something to think about. Anyway, though, without further ado, I know I've been rambling on long enough, and you guys are waiting and ready to see what is in this box. So I'm gonna do this CGC unboxing, and we're gonna see what's in here and what grade I got. So give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm gonna hold this up. You guys are gonna see it before I do. So I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna hold this up, and this is the book. And what did I get? Oh! I got a 4.0. Nice. Yo, I got a 4.0. Snap! Oh, that's dope. That is so dope. So this, my friends, is Journey into Mystery 112. This is the first time. This is a classic battle between Thor versus the Hulk. And the significance of this cover is so iconic to me because this really starts their feud. You know, this was actually, I think, a tie-in to, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was actually like a tie-in to, I think it was Avengers #3. I think with Namor and the Hulk teamed up to take on the Avengers. If I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this kind of served as a tie-in to that. But it's a classic battle between Thor and Hulk, and it was so dope. Like, I mean, Thor and Hulk have had some classic battles. I know a lot of people like to say Hulk and Thing, but to me, I feel like Thor and Hulk's battles are even more epic. I feel like they've had way more classic bouts than Hulk and Thing did. And in fact, I feel like their fights are better. And especially with the latest fight with the Banner, I think it was like the Banner Wars, where Thor versus the Hulk, like Hulk, Bruce Banner actually had like tech now where he can kind of control the Hulk's rage meter, and the higher the number, the more rage he would use, and the stronger the Hulk would get. And then Thor was basically working with Odin. I think Odin was like actually his spirit or his essence was tied into Mjolnir, and they had a pretty cool fight. It was a dope storyline. I don't want to spoil it for you guys if you haven't read it, but it's a pretty cool storyline. But anyway, just to say that, to say they've had some epic battles, and this comic book presents so well. I mean, it's a 4.0. I had it at 3.5 with before the bump, before getting Clean and Press. So with a Clean and Press, you know, it got it. I feel like Comic Book Presser did this thing, got this up to a 4.0. Now the guy had it at a 4.5, so I guess we met in the middle at a 4. You know, we met in the middle at a 4, but I had it at a 3.5, so I'm not too far off. But yo, shout out to the Comic Book Presser, man. He did his thing. Man, look at this. Look at how beautiful this book looks. I know it's that glare, guys. I'm sorry, but it's just a beautiful book. I really love this book. This is probably one of my favorite comic book covers of all time. Really, that whole Journey into Mystery run, that Silver Age Journey into Mystery run, and even that early Thor Silver Age are some of my favorite covers in comics, period. I just love Jack Kirby's work on Thor. And even John Buscema, like what he did later on was just like so freaking epic. I was actually talking to my fiance today about John Buscema and his work, and Jack Kirby and what he did with the character. And it's just gorgeous art. I mean, I would love if I had the money to, you know, buy like original prints of their work. It's just so amazing, so gorgeous. And Comic Book Presser, man, thank you so much, man. You did an outstanding job with this book, man. This thing presents really well, actually. And maybe y'all stand corrected. Maybe I could see this at a 4.5, honestly. I mean, he really did a great job cleaning this. Like, wow. I mean, that cover just pops, man. It's a beautiful cover. So guys, just with that being said, I just want to let you guys, thank you guys, for chilling with me for a little bit. And this is just a lesson, never give up on collecting what you want. Sometimes you may have to go different avenues, different paths, to find what you're looking for, and go through some things and some challenges. But at the end of the day, it's the spirit of collecting that's important, and the love for the hobby. You'll get there. Patience is a virtue, and you'll figure it out. But with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much again for rocking with your boy, the Clinician. And, just tune in real soon. I'm going to start my comics and coffee stuff up really soon. It's been really hectic as of late, but I'm really going to get that popping. I'm just trying to do some different things to try to get dip my toe in the water a little bit. Just dip my toe in the water a little bit just to kind of, see what's out there. But, at the end of the day, thank you so much. Oh, and also, too, man, I want to give a shout out to Thrift Shop. He did this really cool shirt with Silver Surfer. So I just wanted to show this shirt. We got to support people in the hobby, man, that's really doing some cool stuff. And if you like this shirt, I'm also tag you in his post. He did an outstanding job with this shirt. He has a lot of other ones that are really dope as well. I'm probably going to buy some more from him. I got a lot of compliments at the comic book con today at Atlanta Comic Con for his shirt. And, I just want to give him a shout out as well, man. We got to support each other in this hobby. But y'all stay blessed. I'll holler at you later. This is the Clinician. I'm out, y'all. Peace.